Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Johnny Christ, and before we start this show, I just wanted to take a minute to address a few things, just a few things that I'm feeling about the current state of affairs in our world today. Like many of you at home, I've been watching the news. I've been looking at this thing a lot and seeing a lot of things of what people are saying out there, what's going on out there. One thing I read the other day on my phone was a meme of some sort, I believe. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it had a sentiment that kind of stuck with me. Someone asked the question, why is racism being debated right now? Something to that effect. And I thought about it over the last few days, and it isn't a debate. Racism is not right. It's not even not right. It's wrong. It's flat out wrong. Judging someone or treating them differently based on the color of their skin is and will forever be wrong. That is what it is close to, if not at the very heart of everything that is happening in our world right now. And to those who are protesting peacefully and going after a much needed change, I support you in any way that I can. To anyone in the Black community, I support you in any way that I can. Although I know I can never fully understand what all of this means, I will always do my best to try to do the right thing and not the very, very wrong thing that is based on racism. Now, a lot of you probably already saw it this morning. My brother, my friend, my singer, M. Shadows, released a statement out on Revolver magazine today. And I couldn't be more proud to have read that this morning with the rest of you and share those sentiments that my singer, my best friend, shared with all of you. The wisdom that went into it, the thought, the love that went, and the care that went into that op-ed, I couldn't be more proud about, and I couldn't agree with more. As I said, I support protesters, peaceful protesters. But I also see where there can be a boiling point. If you cannot distinct between those two of those, I think you really need to look at yourself. Understanding a boiling point is not an excuse to violence of any kind. That is not what it is there for. It's an English language saying that you understand the plight of somebody else. That is not condoning violence, and do not get those two twisted. The whole thing that I wish to come out of this is a peaceful, loving, stronger relationship with our fellow men and women at the end of this. I hope for a better world for my son and future generations to come. I hope that we can all understand that this is not okay. The injustice that has gone on for far too long is not okay, and it is time for a change. I could go on and on about this with a whole bunch of words, and I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit more about it in the show, but I just wanted to end this part of it with something that I read or heard rather last week, said by NBA former star Jalen Rose. And I wrote it down just because I didn't want to mess it up. But what he said is, I wish everyone could love Black people the way they love Black culture. Now that really resonated with me because he said love. Now let that resonate with you. Start the show. Thank you. Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Johnny Christ, and as I just said, this is Drinks with Johnny. I think I said it. I actually don't know what I just said all the way through. I've never made any kind of statement or speech like that in my life, so I hope I was able to convey part of the way that I'm feeling right now with you, and I hope you understood it. Today I am, of course, joined by Lzzy Hale and Chris Santos as we continue our strive to raise money for the TAO Cares COVID-19 Employee Relief Fund. That is what we're here to talk about mostly, as I stated in social media and at the top of this, I'm not doing that to steer away from the issues that are more pertinent right now, and rightfully so. But the reality is that we're likely going to see more spikes from the coronavirus. There are still people that were affected greatly by that, and this is just one of the many organizations that we can help out. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest today, and we'll get to it. How you guys doing?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Hi, Johnny.
Hey, Lizzy, looking good. Chris, how you doing? How's Vegas?
I'm good. I'm not in my home, which I tried to last week. I tried to, set up a cool backdrop, but now I'm just in a random hotel room off the strip of Las Vegas. So this is what you get.
This is what you get.
This is what you get. I want to just start by saying that was an extremely powerful opening statement on your part, and spot on. And I appreciate you. You could feel the passion in your voice. And this is a really weird time, and we will talk about it. But you certainly started us off on the right foot, because I think everything you said was exactly spot on.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I see you have a strange head behind you. Is that the head of Alice Cooper?
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
I was like, if you have a weird head in the back of your screen in Vegas, Chris, that's trouble. Okay, I'm just gonna say.
Chris, anything can happen in Vegas. All of a sudden, there's like a head that pops up over your shoulder. Yeah, no, that is the head of Alice Cooper. I got to talk with him last week, and it was awesome. But yeah, that head has become such a crazy quarantine situation, because what we've started to do around the house is hide it in places, so it will scare the bejesus out of whoever. So the last one, it's kind of a tag you're it situation. Last one, I hid it in the freezer, because I know
that's a good one
for his smoothie supplies, and so I'm just like, well, he's gonna open the door, just completely. All of a sudden, you just wait. You're like, it's great.
Is that sitting on top of a piano?
It is. Usually when I do these meetings, these Zoom things, I do them down in my studio, but we're gonna be mixing some drinks, and so I got a table here, mixing drinks, and I feel like I'd rather it happen on the piano than in the studio.
So should we get into that first? Are you ready to mix those drinks first, and then we'll get into a little bit more of a conversation?
Sure, dude. Absolutely.
Let's do it. All right. So Chris, again, as many of you who have been watching, as Chris has been co-hosting for me with over the last few shows, he's going to walk us through. He's the guy that owns restaurants and bars all the way across America and Australia and Singapore. So I'm going to let the professional walk me through a little bit of a drink tonight.
So as usual, I don't actually make the drink with you, because I got to be difficult. And I've been drinking cold brew last week. This is the Jägermeister Manifest. This is very hard to get your hands on, but if you come across a bottle, I would, as I'm pouring myself a drink here, I would really recommend you pick it up.
What makes that one different? What makes Manifest different?
Yeah, so it's the first reserve brand, essentially, of Jägermeister. And so it's the first premium line extension in the history of Jägermeister. And it starts with Jägermeister as a base, but it adds a fifth mastery of different botanicals, and it's aged in this northern wheat. I'm reading notes actually, because I want to make sure I get this right.
That's not obvious, Chris. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's okay. But it's what happens is it's a much smoother. Jägermeister is delicious and very versatile, as we've spoken about on the show, especially when it comes to cooking, which catches people by surprise. But this is a sipper. It's not a shot brand. It's a sipper, and it tastes very much like a stirred old fashioned. With hints of all those botanicals and herbs and spices.
So that old fashioned we made last week, it probably would have been really good in, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Manifest old fashioned is amazing. So it's hard to come by. It's a reserve item, but it is out there. And so if you find it, I would really recommend it. It's a beautiful, delicious sipper. So
Lzzy, did you know that Chris was an ambassador for Jägermeister?
Yeah. I've done that for a couple of years now, but if you weren't convinced before then, absolutely convinced now.
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, we had I don't know if I'll have time for it, but Lzzy and I had a night on the town in Nashville, courtesy of Jägermeister, and with some of the fine folks from Jägermeister. And as we spoke of earlier today, we were on the phone earlier, and I said the only reason I remember that night is because I have video of it on my phone.
You got to send me that video. Is it show worthy?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check it.
What if we just surprised Lzzy with that? Oh, that would have been great.
And here's surprise.
Exactly. But you guys are going to make the Jägermeister Cold Brew Collins.
Yep.
Do you have cold brew, Lzzy?
Yes, I do.
Look at that.
He
Oh,
does.
look at you. Amazing.
It's so
I love
tiny
that.
and cute.
Love it. So the cold brew is become my new favorite thing, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a brand ambassador. I actually love it so much that I've kind of I've drank my body weight in it during this during this quarantine.
We talked
and
about
it's-
your body weight in the last episode too. So.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's becoming a problem. I put on the COVID-19,
As they say, yeah.
and at least 15 of it is the cold brew, I think. But the cold brew is delicious, Lzzy. If you haven't had it before, it's Jägermeister cold brew coffee, a hint of chocolate or cacao. It's delicious. It's great over ice on its own, but it's also very versatile. And Willie Shine, who is the resident mixologist for Jägermeister, has put together some amazing recipes, including this cold brew Collins. So yes, Johnny, here we go.
Let's do it. So I'm going to start off with a shaker, right?
Yeah, so this is going to go in a Collins or highball glass when it's finished, but you're going to build the ingredients in the shaker.
Over ice. You want the ice in the shaker first.
Over
right?
ice, yep, over ice. You're going to do 1 part Jägermeister to 1 part rye, or like say 1 ounce and 1 ounce.
Okay.
1 ounce of the cold brew, 1 ounce of the rye of your
We're
choice.
doing it live, people.
What kind of rye do you have over there, Lzzy?
I got this. Don't mock me, but I literally got it because of the title.
New Riff. I haven't
like
had that
it.
one.
I
I
like
can't
it.
mock you. I haven't had it.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm not knocking it. Although I'm not a rye connoisseur.
What are
Okay.
you using, Johnny?
I've got a little bit of Whistle Pig rye. They sent me
nice.
this rad kit couple weeks ago to be part of their master blender course, but unfortunately with the mail, I didn't get it in time, so I wasn't able to participate. But I did. They said have fun with it, and I've been making some of my own blends. So thank you, Whistle Pig.
Okay, so you've got your 1 ounce of rye, your 1 ounce of Jaeger in a shaker with ice. You're going to add 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup and 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice.
Okay, let me get my simple syrup.
So
As I said the other time, it always sounds funny when I say, "Let me whip out my simple syrup."
Yes.
let's just whip it out, shall we?
You said it's 7.5 on the lime juice as well.
Yep, that's correct.
So I normally would have like cut up a lime and juiced it fresh and everything, but I got a little
I
lazy
actually
today.
did, Johnny.
You did. Damn.
Wow, very nice. Very
Lzzy
nice.
comes on here. She's always one-upping me on my own show. It's
You
the
know-
second time she's been here now, and I feel inferior.
I gotta do whatever I can to one up you, man. It's like it's like it's an uphill battle.
And then you're going
All
to
right.
give that an aggressive shake.
Okay.
Ah,
Aggressive
And then,
shake.
and then you're going to strain it over fresh ice and top it up with your ginger beer. As much or as little as you like.
Let me get some ice in my Collins glass. Do you have a proper Collins glass or a highball glass over there? Oh, there.
always down to give an aggressive shake. Always down. So we're pouring that over ice, Chris?
With it.
Yes. And then you're going to top it off with ginger beer. I mean, there's no set amount. It's some people don't love ginger. I love ginger. My wife hates ginger, so it's up to you.
I've got some Barrett's here.
I don't know how much
Oh,
I love.
nice.
I do like ginger beer. I don't know how much I love it, but in the interest of having a full glass, I'm going to go to the top.
There you go. That'll certainly make it more refreshing.
Yeah.
It looks good. It looks delicious from where I'm
Yeah,
sitting.
it does. It's got a nice little color. How's yours coming out, Liz?
It's pretty fantastic. Look at that.
All right.
Nice.
All right.
All right,
Well,
look at
cheers, everybody. Thank you
Cheers.
guys so much for being here again
Cheers.
with me.
Man, it's been a second
That's
since
good.
I was a bartender, so
Dude.
What do you think?
I wasn't a good one.
That might
at all.
be my favorite one we've made so far. We've made a
Really?
couple
Oh,
of
that's
these now
amazing.
together. That's really good.
That's
Nice.
so
Very.
Super
Great.
refreshing, man.
Yeah. So it's my duty.
kind of dangerous.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so it's my duty to say that Jägermeister, the kind folks at Jägermeister, they made a really generous donation to our employee relief fund. So I kind of made it a point, and Johnny was very welcoming that we use Jägermeister as our cocktails here. And so that cold brew is a new product. It's only been out for about 2 months, but you can now find it everywhere. Unlike the Manifest, which is very hard to find, the cold brew you can find everywhere. It's delicious over ice with even just like a drop of your milk choice, like oat milk, almond milk, regular milk, or you can make really great cocktails, as you can see. And that portion of the show has been brought to you by Chris Santos and Jägermeister.
I will say
But it's
also,
true. But I
it is true.
words. I love it.
It is true, and this is the other thing that I can't thank Jägermeister enough for, is when you head over to thisischrissantos.com/auction, you can actually bid on some of these rare Jägermeister items. They put together some packages so that we have a span of amounts that you can donate. We know that this is hard times right now. Not everyone's going to be able to bid on some of these higher ticket prices or items, but there are things that are considered lower ticket items that are still really rare and still really cool that have been brought to us by Jägermeister as well. And if even that isn't in your wheelhouse, and you can just go over to taogroup.com/TAO Cares, and you can put in any amount, dollar amount donation if you have the means. And as we keep saying every time we're doing this, we totally understand that times are tough right now, and if you can't, maybe there's someone out there that can, that hasn't heard what we're doing here yet. Yeah. So spread the word.
Yeah, and if I may, Johnny, just really quickly, for those who maybe missed last week's episodes, so I'm a partner in TAO Group Hospitality. We operate over 50 restaurants and nightclubs across America, as well as in Sydney and Singapore. And we had to lay off or furlough almost 5,000 employees during this pandemic that nobody saw coming. And half of them still, I check in with them weekly, our whole team checks in with everybody. Half of them still have not received unemployment even, because the unemployment system is so backed up because nobody saw this coming. So what we're trying to raise money for here, and what you've been so gracious to give me this platform, and again, I'm just saying this for those who haven't heard it, so I'll make it really quick and condensed, is we've set up a fund. It's the TAO Cares COVID-19 Employee Relief Fund. It's meant to really benefit those who are hardest hit in my work family. We've paid for over 10 or a dozen funerals at this point, which is devastating. And a lot of my work family has been with me for over a decade, some even closing in on 20 years or more. And the backbone of our industry, the backbone of the restaurant and hospitality industry, is our dishwashers and our bussers and our barbacks. And unfortunately, the pay scale in the industry is such that, a lot of, that's a position that, doesn't pay the most money, right? And so, what we always try to do internally is promote, teach our dishwashers how to cook so they can make more money, so on and so forth. But nonetheless, we have a bunch of employees that, are on hard times right now, who have children, who have rent to pay, who haven't had income now going on 3 months, who are not able to get unemployment because the unemployment system hasn't gotten back to them. So every single dollar that we've raised goes to them. We have this auction that you can go to. Johnny's got some really great items on there. I have some cool items on there. Jamie Jocelyn, who was on last week, has some great items on there. Lizzy's going to announce her item in a moment. You can go on there. Every single penny will go to my employees. If you, like Johnny said, if you can go to taogroup.com/TAO Cares and donate even $1, it helps. But I also am completely aware that everyone's going through a hard time right now. So even if you just refer people, I'm on Cameo. Cameo is a platform where I can give a special shout out to someone in your life. And I've done about 100 of these now since I joined just a few weeks ago. I've, wishing people happy anniversary, happy birthday. I'm on a Food Network show called Chop, so answering cooking questions. Every penny that I'm earning on Cameo is going to my relief fund too. So even if you just refer me and just tell people they can find me on Cameo, you have no idea the impact that will have on my employees. So that's the fastest I could say all that. I will shut up now.
That was a quick mouthful. Let's bring it over to Lzzy though, because I know we're so grateful to have you be a part of this with us. I reached out to you through a text, and you were so gracious about it, and thank you. We couldn't be happier to have you be a part of this. As he said, I'll give you the floor in a second to talk about the item that you're going to be putting up for auction that is going to help all this out. But before I get to that, I just wanted to thank you, and seriously, because I see how much stuff you and the rest of the guys in Hailstorm have been doing during this pandemic, and this is just one more piece and just one more part of you that we all love and we all appreciate.
Well, man, I appreciate that, Johnny, and I feel like, I mean, we're all part of, you know, regardless of whether, you know, like Chris, you could totally be in a band if you wanted to, but you know, there is this sense, but you hold that spirit, you know, of the hard rock and metal scene in your heart. And, you know, I know, you know, a lot of us, and we come from that, you know, hey man, we are all in this together. Like every time that we hold up those rock horns, you know, every time we hold up those fucking metal horns, you know, at any of our shows, we get a sense of that unity, and we understand that it's one human race, and we're all in this together. And, you know, no matter what we're going through, no matter whether it's a virus or racial unrest or anything, we are all going to get through this together. We really will. And it takes everybody, every individual person, you know, looking within themselves to do something. So, I mean, honestly, like, I feel like I'm helping out my family, man. You all are a part of my family. We've all known each other for many years, and there have been so many people that have been, you know, struggling during this entire time. It just feels like it's almost biblical anymore. You know, it's like, what's next?
This way
you know,
this year started and has
You know?
continued is every moment where you start to see the light, it feels like something is crippling again. And
Yeah,
it's not to say that you're right. We will get through it, and it's not to say that for a lot of people, that's kind of been their reality for a very long time.
Absolutely.
And we don't want to take away from that by just saying it's been 1 year.
Absolutely. And I completely agree with you. And that's why we all have to, you know, we have to be all hands on deck to be united. And we have to really, you know, like I said before, we have to look at ourselves as individuals and really try to, you know, understand some of the things that we absolutely have not understood, and we have not grown up with. And, you know, and I know that we're mixing a couple of different situations together, but that's the reality, you know, of the world right now, is that we're battling a pandemic, you know, and then we're also battling all of these other things that are going on right now. And this, you know, this plague that has been a part of our country since the dawn of time. Yeah. So, we have to just say enough is enough, and do whatever we can. And I thought what you said earlier was so beautiful, Johnny, because it's our responsibility, you know, if you are not, you know, of Black descent, if you do not have, you know, if you are white,
if you look like us, like you will never have that true understanding of everything, or that empathy, or, you know. Absolutely,
you will never have that true understanding, but you can stand up with those, you know, with your fellow, you know, family members of this absolute human race. And that is what, I mean, we've been talking about that as a band, you know, since the beginning. Is, you know, when we look out on stage, it's all one person. You know, the rock show doesn't care whether you're a boy or a girl, or what skin color you have, or, you know, who you like to kiss, or, you know, all of those things. You know, it's like, it doesn't care. We're all the same at the rock show. So if we can just exude that and make sure that we are spreading that love and spreading that message, and you
using
know,
our platforms to spread love. Using our platforms to spread peace and love right now as much as we can, and equality, big thing right now.
You know, I can't take responsibility for this. It popped up on my timeline today, or my social media scrolling, and maybe a lot of people are putting this up, but it really resonated with me, and it's something that I wanted to say on this show today, which is that it says, believe it or not, it's okay to be all of these three things. It's okay to be outraged by George Floyd's death. It's definitely okay to be outraged by his death.
Absolutely.
But it's also okay at the same point to not condone looting and rioting as a response. And it's okay to support good police officers that are out there, because yes, there are some bad people out there, and what happened to George Floyd is horrible, and they need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But that doesn't paint the picture of every police officer, and it resonates with me personally because I have a brother who's a police officer, and I know, and I'm biased, and he's my brother, and I get it, but I know my brother would never intentionally harm anyone in the line of duty. He'll do his job, but he'll never intentionally harm. And he's on record. We've spoken that what happened to George Floyd is disgusting, and there's no excuse for it. But I am personally, I see, I lived in New York City for 27 years. I just moved to LA a couple of months ago, and seeing both in LA and New York these small businesses that are being looted in response to this, and they are, small businesses that are already having to come back from a pandemic and are already not even sure if they're going to survive, and now they come back to a ruined store. There's a disconnect there. I think that what happened to George Floyd is terrible, and everyone has a right to not even just peacefully protest, but to angrily protest. Yeah. But that doesn't give people an excuse to break windows and steal sneakers. It's just the two just don't align.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's a lot of things out there. A lot of people are saying, and it seems to be the case, is there's a lot of opportunists out there. A lot of people that aren't out there for the cause, that are causing a lot of this. Maybe they're it's hard to truly differentiate between everyone out there, and I think that's the problem. Yeah. But yeah, as I said at the top of the show, I do understand the boiling point. I do understand the anger. I don't condone violence in any case, but I understand the feeling. I understand where it comes from and why, and as Liz said, to the extent that I, as a white male, can understand it. And it's just awful what happened, and unfortunately it's happened way too many fucking times at this point.
Yeah. Yep.
Agreed.
So real quick on that note, let's get back to the other thing that we're here talking about today. And that's the TAO Cares COVID-19 Employee Relief Fund. As Chris said earlier, his restaurants have had to let go or furlough nearly 5,000 people under the pandemic. Things are starting to get back to normal in some places, in some sense. Places are reopening, but the people who really truly hit hard are still reeling from this. So anything that you can do, head over to chrissantos.com/auction. Right there, you're going to see a lot of really cool items that I put up, Chris has put up, our good friend Jimmy Josta put up last week. He put up his actually old ball shorts as he described them. So those are up for auction. I haven't looked to see how they're doing, but they're up there. And let's just go ahead and give the floor to Lzzy.
So,
okay, Chris got something to say first.
Wait. So before Lzzy announces her auction item, I want it to be known that her auction item actually went live on the site, and that her suggested opening bid has already been exceeded by $200.
Nice.
And you haven't even told anybody what it is yet.
What?
Did you bid on it, Chris? Did you bid on it, Chris?
Did I? Maybe.
All right. So Lzzy, what do you got for us on the auction site?
So what I decided, and it's interesting because like a lot of times, like I'll end up doing, like for some of these things, I'll end up doing like, a shoe or a flat or something like that. But this time I decided to donate a leather jacket that I've had for years. So it's still completely intact. It just smells a little bit like me.
I'm sure that's driving the price up, Lzzy. That's driving the price up.
As opposed to Jamie Josta's ball.
It literally,
exactly.
still has this like perfume I was wearing like 3 years ago, which was like amazing, but I can't find anymore. So I'm still like, yeah, I want to find that. I'm sniffing my own jacket.
It's okay. I mean, as someone who likes a good leather jacket too, it's hard to give them up.
I wore it like at nauseum during our third record cycle, which was the Enter the Wildlife cycle, and we just went all over the place. It went all over the world. So there's all sorts of if any of you people listening are into that, there's all sorts of stuff I think on this jacket because I haven't necessarily had it clean.
Nice.
I have a small record label called Blacklight Media, and I'm just wondering if we should never put a black light on that jacket, or
maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. There are a couple of countries on that tour that are not PG-13. So.
Oh man! All right, now you just drove. I'd be shocked if that price didn't just skyrocket on that auction item right now.
I'm giving you some quality items here.
And that's over at thisischrissantos.com/auction. You can bid on Lizzy's leather jacket that still smells like her.
My assistant, Amy Landsman, who is the brains behind this whole operation, is telling me that someone has bid on the sweaty Jamie Josta ball shorts.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Someone is
good.
Yes.
Good for them.
But
and good for us, and good for you, Chris, raising money at thisischrissantos.com.
Yeah, Lzzy, thank you so much. The fact that jacket's already above bid, opening bid before you even said all that, is amazing. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Like I said, every dollar counts. It's just, and what you guys are doing for me is really amazing.
I put some guitar picks in the pocket too. I'm not going to tell you
which
ones.
Nice.
Ooh.
Okay.
Little surprises
some nice
in
ones
there
that aren't in print anymore. So.
Oh, thank you so much, Liz. That's such a cool, unique item. Like many of the other ones at the auction, we're going to be adding some more as well. So keep going back to thisischrissantos.com/auction. Lzzy, thank you again so much for that. And I want to just quickly, let's get a little off topic here and talk about the first time you guys met. You touched upon a little bit of a Jaeger party, but Chris actually shared with me a really cool story a little over a month ago when we were originally starting to set up this whole foundation run that we were going to do. And I'm going to let him tell you the story too. I thought it was really cool, and then we were like, oh, I know Lzzy very well. Let's talk to her so we could share that story.
Yeah. Well, so it's funny that you say that because I've got it queued up on my phone to show everybody in a minute. So I had met Lzzy and the band, in Nashville with Jägermeister, and we went out and we had a great night. We had some fun, and then just because Jägermeister, especially at that time, was very involved in sort of the rock and metal festivals or whatnot. We would pass, we would cross each other's paths a lot. But then one day at Louder Than Life Festival, I got to, and it's my favorite, it's definitely my favorite photo of all time. And you talk about unity, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. Where do I put it so you can see this?
Oh,
you can see it.
You guys see that?
Leave it right there. Leave it right there, Chris.
That is me and Jose from Liquid Metal. 45,000 screaming fans. I was given the opportunity to bring you guys onto the stage. And it was kind of a last minute thing. I was hanging out backstage. I was talking to you. And then Jose was like, I'm probably not getting the story exactly right, but my recollection was Jose was like, hey, you want to come on stage and bring these guys on? And I was like, are you kidding? And he said, is it okay with you? And you, Lzzy, you were like, yeah, fuck yeah. And so all of a sudden I didn't have time to think about it. And then I got up on the stage and there's 45,000 people there. And I'm like, first of all, nobody cares about me. And second of all, like, what am I going to say?
That's not true, Chris.
Jose, and well, the reason why it was really cool is that, I'm on Food Network and I've been on Food Network for 11 years and I love it. And I love my show Chopped. And it's been such an amazing experience being part of that family. But he introduced me as from Food Network's Chopped, and the crowd went wild. And I was just blown away And then I was the one that actually got to say the words, welcome to the stage. I screamed into the microphone, and it was just an electric moment. And my brother got that photo. I think it was my brother who took that photo. My other brother, not my police officer brother, who was on tour with me. Just you talk about unity. There it is. There's 40,000 people all with their horns in the air. And just bringing you on stage was such an electric moment, and it's like it happened yesterday. I just love it. It was such a great moment, and I was honored because I'm, yes, we're friends, but I'm a huge fan of yours too. So it was really, really awesome. So thank you for that opportunity.
Oh, of course, man. It's like we're all in this thing together.
Yeah.
I remember specifically the very first time I was live on that metal show with Eddie Trunk and company. Yep. And I was on with Kerry King, of all people, which is actually like, he's the sweetest guy in the world. He's one of those guys where he'll give everybody hell. And then like, I remember backstage, he like pulling his glasses down just for a second. Just like, hey, how you doing, darling? You all good? All right. Go back to his stance. And afterward, we ended up hanging out with a bunch of the Jaeger peeps and you guys and like you were flying like back and forth because you were like in charge of the kitchen. So like you ended up bringing a bunch of stuff out to us, and then Kerry was like at this restaurant. He was like two tables down from us, and then he ended up like sliding into the booth, and we ended up doing Jaeger shots for the rest of the night. And I do not remember getting back to the hotel room at all, but but it was a great night, and you just kept providing us with these like amazing like dishes that were just like small and just here you go, and it was just like this smorgasbord one after the other. So we really appreciate that, and we've talked about it before where it's like we've been friends for years, but it's always like these sporadic meetings like over the course of like. I haven't seen you for like 2 years, man. How you been?
Right.
But
let's
we
have a drink.
where we left off, man.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That unity, that community. When you do see each other after it's been so long, it's like it is that long lost friend kind of vibe. You just like pick it right back up. I've noticed that with even talking to Chris. We met many years ago without seeing each other for a very long time, and when we did this thing together, we were, of course, hitting it right off again. Lzzy, we had the same experience when I had you on the show a few months ago with you and your brother, and we hadn't seen each other in a couple of years, and it was like, even though it was virtual and things like that, it definitely feels like we're backstage again, just hanging.
This is making me want to hang out with you guys so much.
I know.
I want to hang out with you guys so hard.
We absolutely
And it's
will.
funny to piggyback on what you were saying, and you'd probably kill me if he's watching or if he knew this, but you're absolutely right about Kerry. Kerry's become one of my best friends, and but growing up, in the 80s, Rain and Blood came out in 1986. I was 15 years old. Like, you have this vision of, Kerry, and Kerry is this tough guy, and he is. But now we're like, he texts me, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna like release some of these texts because you use so many emojis, like no one would ever believe it. He is the sweetest guy.
Chris, are you not a big emoji guy? I mean, I don't. We've been texting back and forth, but it's really been around this.
It's just funny when like Kerry King like sends you a joke and then follows it up with a bunch of like funny emojis that you would not expect from Kerry King. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, emojis are the way now, man. That's how it is. Speaking of like the way though, now I touched upon it a little bit earlier with you, Lzzy. You guys have been doing a lot of cool things in Hailstorm. One of the things that you and us at Avenged have kind of helped to team up on was the Roadie Strong organization. Do you want to talk a little bit about that while we have the time?
Absolutely. If you want to give me the time, and thank you so much for supporting that. It was something that kind of came about because we saw that there were so many bands, including us, like just doing our separate things for our individual road crews. So we'd be putting up some merch items and some donation funds for our specific, like our Hailstorm road family and your road family that we actually know so well, your Avenged Road family. It's like they're a part of our, so we decided, we're like, well, we actually like have to create some kind of awareness and some kind of, I don't know, some rollout happening, because I don't think many people really understand that and rightly so. I mean, like,
No,
there's,
yeah, how
there's
could they? How they don't get to see what
there's a
goes on
reason
behind the
why
curtain.
there's like the roadie guys behind the curtain,
Mhm.
like you don't want to be like, hey, there's the guy like that's like, fixing the amp that just went down. It's like there's a
Yeah, there's a
reason.
lot to that. But I mean, the other thing that they truly wouldn't be able to understand is these crew members are hopping from gig to gig too. A lot of the times,
Yep.
when there's some crew members when they hop off a Hailstorm tour to run, they might be over with Avenged doing the same thing. And although sometimes things have happened where they miss months or a tour here and there was always a sense of you knew you were getting back to it. And
Yes.
right now, a lot of these guys who are living off of those gigs that aren't happening will be and won't be happening, unfortunately, for we don't know how long. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, the techs and the roadies are the unsung heroes of what you guys do, just like
Absolutely.
the dishwashers and the barbacks and the busters are in my world, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, they're
Yep.
so
Perfect
critical.
analogy.
They're so critical. I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
no.
you.
That
Like,
was
they're
great input
but
there.
they're so critical to what you guys do, and this has got to be incredibly painful for them.
Yeah.
I mean, we hear it from like in our personal camp. I mean, not only are people going stir crazy because, roadies and also, the same with your, the barbacks, the dishwashers, the servers, all of these people that, they're, like you said, the unsung heroes, and they ran away to join the circus. Like, this is what they do, and they depend, and a lot of these people, especially people that aren't on retainer, that don't have that opportunity, if they're working for, bands that aren't able to keep their crew on retainer, it's like there's no way for them to like have any type of certainty in their future, because the future actually is unknown right now, and it's unknown for all of us. I mean, we're all dealing with that as artists as well. But what we have to like realize is that, and what we've been kind of spreading the word with, and amongst all of our rock star friends, and but also our fans, is that when you go see a show, like when you go see an Avenged Sevenfold show, if you go see a Hailstorm show, if that show blew your mind in any way, that is not just about me singing. It's not just about us playing. It's not just about the four of us. It's about the light show that, like, our lighting guy literally, like, we don't use any tracks, no trickery. So our lighting guy is literally playing with the band every single freaking night. Our sound guy is also our tour manager. He's doing double duty. He keeps everything in line. He makes sure that we're like, so like us as rock stars, like we wake up at like the crack of 1 p.m. Roll in,
And these guys are the last.
Wow.
It's a funny point to bring up, and we could defend that all day and explain what that really is. But I'm just going to let it sit out there and let we get at the crack of 1. We are the last ones in and the first ones out. Our roadies, our crew members are the first ones in and the last ones out every single fucking night.
Yeah.
So what we ended up putting into place was we gathered up with Live Nation for their Crew Nation Fund, and literally, I mean, the most amazing thing about what happened with this hashtag Roadie Strong thing is that if you literally Google hashtag Roadie Strong, like by the third thing in, like you have the exact link to where you got to go. If you want to just donate, it's livenation.com/crewnation. If you want to get something, as in like we put out some t-shirts that say Roadie Strong on it, also some masks, so that you can actually represent, so that when all of this comes back together and we get to go to rock shows, wear your Roadie Strong gear. Let your roadies know that you helped out and you did something for them and you represent them. And that we did that with Rockabilia, and you can find that as well. So it's
So Lzzy, can you say that link again to donate?
So to donate, it's livenation.com/crewnation. That's just for like a money situation. If you want the t-shirts or the masks, it's rockabilia.com. I believe it's Roadie Strong, but at the same time, if you get confused or if you just want a complete link, literally put into Google #Roadie Strong. It comes up right away.
Right there.
So
Okay.
you'll know.
Couldn't be
So
you'll know what it
I
is.
might call or text you on the side for that information again because I'm drinking. But what I'd like to do right now, in consideration of Johnny and you, is I'm gonna make a $500 donation personally to that Live Nation crew as soon as we get off this telecast.
Dude.
So
You're a great dude,
it's
man.
That's great,
it's
dude. Thank you.
it's the
Chris.
least I can do. It's the least I can do. And also, having been on the festival circuit a little bit, I know some roadies too, not just rock stars. And so I feel for them and I know what they're going through. So, it's my pleasure. So yeah, but I might text you just for that link again because, I'm
Totally.
drinking.
Time.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And I'll also with my assistant Amy, who I know is tuning in right now, we'll put together some kind of a post that we can also post, directing people towards that as well.
Thank you. That's so
No,
awesome.
come on, seriously, it can't all be about. I mean, listen, I love what we're doing here, and it's for my family, but it can't just be all about my family. It can be about
everybody.
your family too.
It's the world community, right?
Like you said earlier, Lizzie, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Real quick, I've been meaning to talk to you about this, Chris, and it'll kind of get us back to a couple of other things. Just on a pure curious level, you had a bout with the coronavirus that lasted about 4 weeks. I was curious as to what symptoms you felt. I know that a lot of people felt different things, and it's affecting people in different ways. I wanted to know if you could explain or kind of describe what those 4 weeks were like.
Yeah. I mean, so listen, I'll be very clear. Like, I was not hospitalized, and I was not on a ventilator, but I was extremely sick. It was definitely the sickest I've ever felt. I had been on like 6 flights in 8 days, and it was a Sunday night that I started to get a cough, but no one was talking about coronavirus at the time. I flew to New York, got to New York on Monday, definitely did not feel well at all. That Wednesday, or basically that Monday, was when this became a huge news story. So that Wednesday, so basically 3 days after I developed a cough, I was supposed to actually do a photo shoot for Jägermeister. And they actually called me off just to be sure. And I went, a couple days it got worse. Long story short, I had the worst headache I've ever had in my life. I had the worst body fatigue I've ever had in my life. I had the worst cough I've ever had in my life. And there were 3 or 4 days, and I had, my temperature, I was under doctor's orders to take my temperature every hour, and it would be so crazy because 1 hour would be 102, and then the next hour would be 97.1, and then the next hour would be 101.6.
And that was
so
obviously,
totally
and that wasn't
weird.
that was without like Tylenol or anything, right? That was just what your body was naturally doing.
Originally they put me on antibiotics because they didn't really know what it was, and then when that didn't take and I got worse, that's when I got tested. And this was at the beginning stages of this, so it took me 10 days to get my results back. But I was very, very sick. I mean, again, not hospitalized, thank God, but definitely there was a 2 or 3 day arc where I really was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. But the idea of going to a hospital was so depressing to me that I would just say, I'm going to just give myself 24 more hours and see. And eventually the tide turned. But when all was said and done, it was 38 days that I was in quarantine by myself in New York alone. And that included, of course, a week of no symptoms, so I could fly to LA and move to LA and be with my wife or whatever. But it was dreadful. It was dreadful, and I don't wish it on anybody. And I had it easy, in the sense that I wasn't hospitalized, I wasn't on a ventilator, but it was still really horrible. And I worry, kind of to bring this conversation back a little bit full circle. I think that everyone has the right to protest, and I'm not upset at that at all. I worry that these protests may have we may find out in a few weeks that, if the coronavirus is still kind of alive and well, so to speak, that we may have a spike in cases because the protesters are very close together and whatnot. So that would be horrible and not something I wish on anybody.
And you
So
have a
hopefully,
person, and
hopefully-
obviously you who had a bout with it had a very personal look at it. You have a very, I mean, you have a sympathetic look at it. You have your
Well,
family
it's
that you said
it's
too.
informed it's informed the way we're opening. I'm opening the first restaurant in our company this Friday, and it's informed the way the way we conduct ourselves in the venue. I know that when I go out to eat, I'm going to be scrutinizing the behavior of my servers a little bit, maybe more than I ever did before. I never really paid attention, but now I don't necessarily want somebody's fingers in my glass or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You're going to
Something
look
I
at
never
those
really
things a
thought
little
about.
bit more closely, and that's going to be the new
Yeah.
normal. That although it's added steps, maybe those steps are for the better anyway. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I wanted to ask you about that, and thank you for sharing your symptoms and stuff, so we can get a little bit of what really what happened to you, what your scientific, I guess, experience was with it, as well as how personal it is to Chris Santos. As he's said many times before, he's had to pay for funerals. He's had to put not just people who he considers his employees, his family. He's worked with many, many, many of these people for many, many years. And as anybody knows that have worked with somebody that they truly like at the beginning, you eventually truly love that person. And so this is why I reached out to Chris and wanted to be a part and see if we could use our platform to raise a little bit of money. I'm going to plug it one more time. Well, probably a few more times. TAO Cares COVID Employee Relief Fund. That is what we're all here talking about. And if you head over to thisischrissantos.com/auction, you can right now go bid on a Lzzy Hale leather jacket from 3 years ago that still smells like her, as well as a lot of other things that are really cool and awesome things you can donate or bid on. There's going to be a dinner with 4 of their friends and me and Chris when things get back to normal at one of his wonderful restaurants. If any of those things you can't do, again, head to taogroup.com/TAO Cares. Any dollar amount that you can muster is so appreciated. If you still can't, Chris is doing cameos and just telling people about what we're trying to do and what we're trying to raise money for. If you feel that we'll like doing that, that would be so awesome for us. Lzzy, I'm
humbled, by the way. I'm humbled because you came to me with this. I didn't solicit you.
Yeah, buddy.
And you came to me, and then Lzzy, you being a part of this is just huge. I'll shut up now, but I could thank you for hours on end.
This is awesome.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Seriously, it's and I know it sounds like a broken record right now, but the fact that we're able to, as friends and as colleagues and as peers, come together and do something great for our community and for our fellow people and everyone struggling right now, that's our responsibility. If you can do,
Yeah,
that's true.
Thank
the other thing that I saw
Thank
you guys
so
were
much.
doing, Lzzy, the other thing I saw that you guys were doing, I think you did a couple of these, maybe it was just one, but you did a little live music show for your fans virtually. I think this is a really great idea. It was one of the things, we weren't necessarily in a position to do that for various reasons, but it's one of those things where you see an opportunity. What was it like for you guys to do that? The pros and cons, I guess, is what I'm getting at, because I know that there has to be some. So,
So are you talking about the virtual reality thing that we did?
Yeah.
A while back?
No, I saw. Yeah. Well, yeah, and I saw the performance you did for the first responders, where you did an acoustic version of what was it? I'm the Fire, right?
Yeah, we done I'm the Fire because there was a hospital basically that apparently it had become their unofficial anthem during the beginning of all of this, and so we decided to make sure that Robert Johnson University. I had to think about it again. Thank you for the cocktail, because now my memory.
This is what we do here. You're familiar with it now, though. You should remember.
Yeah.
I mean, we had that whole extra episode with
I
us.
just pulled that one up. But no, they were so sweet, and they basically, it's weird. They contacted us and they said, we just want you to know that during this initial wave, we're really feeling your song right now. And so we decided to just sit down and do an acoustic version of that. But we've been doing a lot of live performances. I've been doing actually a thing with Linda Perry and Carrie Brown.
And that's the raise.
Friday.
That's the raise your horns thing, right?
Yeah, so it's via it's basically it's youtube.com/we are here as an HEAR, and yeah, I have a show every Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Central. But it's one of those things where it's like it's become such a fulfilling situation because, like, yes, I've actually honestly I've been busier than I ever would have been if everything had stayed the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I like keeping that contact, and I need to keep that contact. And it's not just, out of goodwill. I think that personally I need it, and I need to make sure that we're doing something. But everything that, there's, we're putting it on, and it's a crazy thing because it's with all the old school MTV cats. So it's like, Tom Green is on there, and
oh my God,
guys, that were like back in the day. But it's like what MTV was before MTV became a corporate situation. So it's an amazing situation. But Danita Sparks does a show. I'm actually having her on my show, this Friday as well. And I've had Alice Cooper on there and Corey Taylor, and like all of my rock star friends are like, it's weird because I sent out like a thing and I'm like, hey, like, do you want to be a part of this? And everybody said yes.
Yeah. That's the community. That's the unity we were talking about before. Yeah. Then you had to start scheduling it. No, I learned what that was like early on with my show.
Cool. and everything goes to Music Cares. Everything is a Music Cares donation situation. And so like, we're just creating a platform for entertainment, but also like, hey, here's this thing if you want to donate to this, broader cause. So yeah, everyone's doing it for a nonprofit thing, but it's also like just incredibly fulfilling. So
that's awesome. I've been seeing that. It's so cool of you. It's so cool of you to do this with us too and spend the time with us. I think it's about time we put a bow on this show for the night. I'm just gonna put some stuff.
No! I'm having too much fun.
Well, don't worry. We can continue the fun. We're gonna let the people get back to their dinners and such. I'm just gonna shout out a couple more things. Head over to thisischrissantos.com/auction. That is where you will find all the items we've been talking about all week long, and they're really cool. They're unique items too, guys. Like, this isn't stuff that you would see on a normal auction where it hasn't been personally given. The bass I'm giving is personally out of my vault. The jacket is personally out of Lzzy, and the ball shorts are personally owned by Jamie Josh.
There's a broken Zakk Wylde figure.
Yeah, there's a broken Zakk Wylde figure. Like, these are truly, you probably hear it all the time when people are putting it at auctions, that they're one of a kind things. These are truly one of a kind things that we're putting up for auction. And that again is at thisischrissantos.com/auction. Oh, should be right down here in the description. Is it right down in the description, Brando? Yep, right down here in the description, you can find the link to thisischrissantos.com/auction and the TAOgroup.com, TAO Cares, and that's where you can go donate any dollar amount. That anything helps. We're not just saying that.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
Chris is doing cameos. He might even berate you in the kitchen if you want. If that's something that you want.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Literally,
and thanks again to Jägermeister for the packages they put together and the things they've sent out to us. Really appreciate that. Anything you want to add there, Chris?
I just want to thank you, as I always do, but I have another opportunity tomorrow to do that when we wrap things up. I want to thank Lzzy so much. This has been a thrill. Having Jamie on last week and having you on, it's like what you just said. You sent a message out and everyone said yes. You said yes to this. I consider you a colleague, a friend, but really more than anything, I'm a huge fan. And so the fact that you took time out of your life to support, my work family, you have no idea what that means to me. And I will repay you in lots and lots and lots of small plates in the future.
Well, Chris, I love your small plates, and we've had many a times with your small plates. So I'll take the fun. But no, it's a tremendous honor, and man, I'm happy to help whenever I can, wherever I can. And so, man, you send me a text, you tell me how to jump, I will say how high.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much, Lzzy. Your Instagram is Lzzy Hale official, right? Is that?
It's official Lzzy Hale. Yeah.
Official Lzzy Hale. I knew it. And it's Hailstorm Rocks. Is that correct for the band?
That is correct.
And Chris is at Santos Cooks.
Santos Cooks. Santos
That's
Cooks,
right.
or this is Chris Santos.
If you want more
the
of these
IG.
wonderful people, that's where you can find them on social media. And I guess that's it for this moment with these guys. I'm going to wrap up with the rest of the kids here in a second. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this.
Thank you, Johnny.
And, we'll talk very soon. I love you.
Mwah.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up this episode of Drinks with Johnny. Thank you so much for checking out. Thanks so much for being here with us for this hour and hopefully helping us to raise money for the TAO Cares COVID-19 Employer Relief Fund. If you somehow missed it throughout the episode, the links are right here in the description. Follow us at Drinks with Johnny on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Head over to drinkswithjohnny.com for more episodes in the archives. We do have a live section, and the last couple episodes that we talked about tonight are down there. So if you want to see some of the other items Jamie Josser was talking about from last Thursday, you can watch that episode. The description will be the same. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me tonight. Again, I hope everyone is safe out there, and crazy times we're living in. My heart goes out to everyone who is suffering right now. And I truly mean that. That's not as broad as it sounds. Anyways, thank you all so much for your support. And until next time, cheers.